Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
The hustle doesn't have to hurt. If performance pressure is making it hard to breathe, Grow Therapy helps you navigate stress, set boundaries, and actually feel like yourself again. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/start now to get started. That's growtherapy.com/start now. growtherapy.com/start now. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Ever notice how life's best stories don't happen in your living room? They happen on the open road, out on the water, or parked under the stars. At Progressive, they get that you want to focus on the experience, not worry about the what-ifs. That's why they offer quality insurance designed for your ride, whether that's a boat, RV, or motorcycle. Adventure with confidence. Visit Progressive.com and see how easy it is to protect your favorite way to get away. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in D.C. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Honestly, it's a little box room upstairs. I have to go upstairs.
Shut up now, Robe. It's 7 o'clock.
Oh.
We're just going to permanently mute you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the Tilt Talk Show, sponsored by AMG Logistics at the slightly later time of 7 p.m. Myself, Paul Hickes, Mr. Tally Jones, Mr. Merch himself, as we changed his name to. How do?
Welcome home, Mark Meredith.
Evening all.
And I mean as in literally in the UK and not back on the show. We're both at the same time.
Yeah, back in sunny Birmingham.
The lovely Claire Wilden.
Good evening.
Mr. Robe Mark Adams.
Good evening, everybody.
Mr. Clarkson Craig Courtney.
Good evening, everyone.
And last but not least, our main producer, Mr. Chris Brown.
Good evening.
Whoo.
So where do we start with that then? I mean, it's not very often I'm left speechless. As those that watch the show regularly, and those of you that know me will know I'm not speechless usually, but genuinely at sort of 1:20 on Saturday, I was speechless. I didn't really know what to think after that half. It was probably the worst I've seen for a while, that particular half, and the team that was selected, I was a bit baffled by before kickoff, and as soon as I seen them shape up and I saw that Osman was deeper and, you know, we'd gone with Pakin Iwata again, and, you know, I'm just thinking, what are we going to get out of this? And obviously John Eustace comes out and says that they played no fear football, which I don't blame him for doing, but what I will say is I'll reverse that and say that we certainly played fear football, didn't we? Mark Meredith, obviously you were there, you come over and you was there, and obviously we'll come on to your whole week in a minute, but I just want your thoughts and story on the day, and do you agree with what I'm saying? It was no fear football against fear football, wasn't it, for most of the game?
Yeah, apologies first, because the two games I've been to is Wembley and now Derby away, so I'm putting the blame on me, I think, after that performance.
You're bad. We're getting rid of you.
Seriously. But yeah, it was shocking, wasn't it? And I think the biggest frustration is, I was saying to Claire after and then to a few other people as well, like, I don't mind seeing a loss, but it's when you see one that's so bad and there's no real passion or fight or anything in the team. It was just so stale, wasn't it, all the way through? Like, from the goal we conceded, where it just looked like Beadle didn't even want to go for the ball, to pretty much not having one shot on target. It was, and it was really hard to see the reaction at the end. Obviously, not being in the ground for me, I'd normally turn the TV off and don't see the last bits of them reactions. But the reaction was very hostile against the players and the manager after, and it is a tough one. You never really want to be hostile to them, but I could see the frustration leaking through with everybody, because it was just an all-round shocking performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was, and don't really know what else to say. I mean, obviously, let's sort of let's chop it up and break it down. Obviously, I mean, Claire, the goal. Obviously, we didn't really. There's no highlights to talk about, is there really, from our point of view? But the goal that we conceded, I mean, it was so avoidable, wasn't it? In more ways than one.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it was great to go with Mark. We had a great day, apart from the actual game. We want to see a performance. And if you lose, at least have a go. It was a shambles. There was no plan. The formation was ridiculous. Playing Osman at left wing back, don't understand that at all. The bench was insane. Our bench was probably one of the best benches you could have in the Championship. And the fact is that he's leaving players out, and I don't get it. I do not understand it. Going back to the goal, I thought Beadle could have saved that. He looked like he wasn't ready. He looked like, I think he was probably so bored of watching what was in front of him, he probably switched off. I've been to many away games. That's probably the worst performance I've seen, especially the first half. It's like the 18-yard box is a no-go zone. We don't create anything. 50% of our games away from home, we've seen 1 or 0 shots on target. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I don't mind if we lose, but we had no fight, no passion. We had no idea what to do with that football on Saturday. No. I think I was messaging everyone going, I don't actually know what the formation was, because at one point there were 6 at the back because Iwata decided to go centre-back. Doyle was basically playing as another centre-back when he comes on. And it was just, honestly, I was there and I couldn't believe it. We were there going, Derby have got one of the worst home records. My friend's a Derby fan, so I met up with her before the game. And I was like, don't worry, we're really bad away from home. Do not worry about it. And she said, we're awful at home. So I said, this has got a draw written all over it then. Well, they came at us. They wanted it. They were really up for that game. And ever since he said, we're going to go for it before Millwall, we haven't gone for it. And to be fair, I think the away fans, to me, it changed against Millwall away. And it definitely changed against Charlton away. He's lost the players. I generally believe he's lost the players, and he's now lost the fans as well. I like Chris Davies as a bloke, but I just don't think he's for us anymore. I was there when we lost against Leeds. It had that feeling when Rooney had his last game. And it was such a random start. He will never drop a Wata, which is starting to grate on people as well. Like, you've got Solis on the bench, Doyle, Roberts. Like, Roberts was brilliant the last game. Vicente has just scored against Real Madrid, and now he can't get into our side. You've got, Duck up top on his own. He's not a number 9 that's going to hold the ball up. He's not going to head it on. He's not going to, he didn't do anything. You're basically playing with 10 men. Stano ran around. Gray slowed it down. Like, you can literally list it. The goal was so simple. And I said, if you let the ball come in, they're going to header it. And then all of a sudden, it was like Beadle realised he needed to dive afterwards. And I just... It's so frustrating when you watch them away from home. And some of my friends, I haven't been to many away games, they ended up being able to go. And they were like, I don't know how you do this every week. Home games, it's like, wow. Away games. And I think Chris Davies has come out today saying he's bewildered. So are we all. And you're the one whose job it is to do it. Go 4-3-3. We said change the formation, but don't change it so expansively that nobody knows what they're doing. You could have kept, where's Newman? And the thing is that I've got to admit, we stood there at the end. I didn't say anything. I just wanted to see what the players' reaction. 4 of them stood and took it. Iwata, Paik, Newman and Prisk. The others walked up 30 seconds, clap, 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 then walked off. So something, it needs to change. And it needs to change very, very quickly because, I mean, I'm dreading going to Ipswich, Hull and Portsmouth, to be honest. So, yeah, not happy at all. I just think that we need to change, and yeah, I think that we're not utilising our players that we've got. We are so much better than we are. He needs to, if he's still in the job by Blackburn, I expect to see a radical change, and that includes personnel. And I just think it was just such an inept performance. It showed how inexperienced he is. The backroom staff need to change. And do you know what? The players actually need to start standing up and being like, pick me. This is why you should pick me. But as an away fan on that game, I mean, Tally was there and Mark was there. It was a disgrace, the first half. It was probably the worst first half of football I've seen as a Blues fan.
Yeah, it felt like it felt like Karanka was back, didn't it? The back five and defensive, and just, inviting the opposition onto us constantly and not showing any ambition to try and pose any threat to them. But I mean, I hope it doesn't get too nasty for Davies. I will say that. I don't think he deserves like the Rooney backlash to that level. You know what I mean? After what he's done last season, and obviously he's done good stuff for us. So I don't think he deserves that. However, I am starting to think now he's starting. If this don't change, which I can't see it changing, to be honest, he's had plenty of opportunity to realise in previous games where we have been robotic, even at home as well. Other games like the Baggies at home and Sheffield United at home against 10 men, we were, again, not making the most of the opportunity that we had. And you'd like to think that he'd learn from that and move forward with it, but clearly not. It's just nothing's changing, is it, Tally?
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I saw the team, the lineup come through on my phone, I was a bit like, we've been asking him to change it up a little bit. I thought he's obviously got a bit of a plan, but within 10, 15 minutes, I just thought, has this been forced upon him? Because it just didn't. They were so out of place. I mean, Osman was a fullback in the end. It just looked so disconnected. Like Claire said, with Dutch up front, he's not a lone striker. He looked like, I mean, he's slow anyway, but it made him look even worse trying to run across the front line. But one thing I did notice was Paik. Paik, within the first 20, Paik and Iwata, within the first 21 minutes, they'd had 7 touches of the ball. Now, that's completely, to me, since they've been playing at the club, that's never happened.
No.
I saw massive frustration from Paik, where when he actually got the ball in the middle, he turned, he looked for that central pass, and there's no one there. They were just standing like Gray. There was no attacking option. It was like he guessed a formation or the tactics that morning, and went with it, and no one else got the message.
No, it's disappointing. And like you said, Claire, we are so much more capable of doing better with this personnel that we've got available to us. And in my opinion, in multiple positions on Saturday, there were better players sitting watching on the bench than the players playing in their position. But we move forward and we see if like you say, Claire, if he's still there against Blackburn. I do think, my gut feeling is, I do think they'll give him till the end of the season. I think he will be given till the end of the season, and then they'll assess it in the summer. Now, whether they'll accept, because the thing is as well, Knighthead, I think I heard Brian Dick say earlier, Knighthead are going at 60 miles an hour, and Davies is still obviously learning the job at 40 miles an hour, isn't he? So the two at the moment aren't working in alignment with what's going on off the pitch. There's no product on the pitch that's anything like the product on the pitch that's anything like the product off the pitch at the moment. But do we think Davies can get there if he keeps learning, or is it sort of at the end of Chris Davies, maybe at the end of the season, Craig?
I think, on Saturday, I got to be honest, I was bored after 20 minutes, and it was frustrating because it's like watching a team that just basically can't be asked. I mean, Claire raised the question: are they playing for the manager? And you just cannot tell. The Paik and Iwata side of it, I just do not get. We were 1,000 times better when he changed up midfield, because he all of a sudden became a little bit more front foot and having a go, but it was too late. And we then have people that are knocking Stansfield, going, he's only scored 1 goal away from home, and that was a penalty. This isn't right. Stansfield's not getting the ball given to him. He's not getting the service. So how can you expect a kid to try and score a goal when he's not being given the ball? Now, Davies, in all out. Right? I said on Saturday that I would be amazed if, number one, they hadn't pulled the trigger today, that he is still here at the end of the season. And I'll stick by that. I don't want to see him go anywhere because I believe Chris Davies is being let down at this present moment by two areas. The first one is his own bloody team. Right? The players, as Claire said, have got to stand up and be accounted for. But also, he's got no backroom staff. This is an inexperienced manager with a totally inexperienced backroom. So what you actually need is that mixture of experience, not just on the field, right, which we are sadly lacking, but also some people behind the scenes that can turn around and go, do you know what, is this working? I don't think it is, but this is what we can do to swap it up. And at the moment, we don't have that. You look at the way that it was done off the bench at the weekend, and all I saw was Chris Davies on the line. When it came to substitutions, I saw a little bit of Jonathan Graham's getting up. I didn't see Ben Petty. I didn't see him once out there having a go, right? And what you actually need is a management team that are going to get up. And if players aren't pulling their weight, they should be on the line giving them a rollicking, making sure they're heard. It's quite often been said that you can hear managers bellowing out instructions. We don't have that. Now, is that experience or is that just naivety? We don't know. But the players themselves, I'm afraid, really need to stand up and be accounted for. They're not on the beach. They're being paid thousands of pounds. I'll say it now, the way I felt on Saturday, I wasn't at the game personally, but for those that were there, it was as though they'd been stolen from, because they've paid hard-earned money to go and watch a game and instead watched, for me, 11 prima donnas on a pitch, not even trying and breaking a sweat. And they need to, they need to take it and look at the teams that are around them that are fighting for that playoff position. Right? They're all teams that will break their backs. Derby are a great example of a team that, when you look at their personnel, they actually arguably shouldn't be fighting for in and around the positions that they are. And so I can't remember who it was, but it was a great quote, which was, we have a bunch of players that are being coached and are playing mid-table. They are a group of players that are mid-table at best, but are being coached for a playoff position. And that's what we needed. Our season is finished. Some of us said that we take mid-table as a progression. I can take mid-table as progression, but what I can't take is that performance at the weekend, because it was absolutely diabolical, and they need to take this international break now. And do you know what? All these players that are going off on international duty, sod that. They should be staying in our own dressing rooms and working their backsides off, so that when we play that game on Good Friday against Blackburn, right, we come out all guns firing. Because I tell you, mate, if we play like we did and we don't get a result against Blackburn, that crowd is going to turn very, very, very quickly. And Paul, I agree with you. I don't want to see Chris Davies taking a battering from the fans.
No.
That it could quite easily happen, and it needs to change, and they need to grow some, right? And if they don't want to be playing for Birmingham City Football Club, don't. Just go. Get rid. And there are also players that, for me, who should be breaking their backs for the club, that at the moment are just they're doing nothing. Jimmy Gray might as well be playing backwards, because he can get down the wing and then he cuts in. Do you know what I mean? He might as well pass backwards. There's nothing else to him. We've got.
Right.
He's not a right winger for a start, is he?
He's not, but
you got Vicente Roberts.
Still create chances. He's not doing it.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, you got Vicente and Roberts sat watching Damari Gray playing right wing, and he's a left winger.
£80 million
doesn't make sense, does it?
You could have changed the words from the song that's there for our most expensive player when we're there saying 20 million down the drain, he goes and scores again, right? We could have changed it to 80 million on the bench and we're still going to go and lose again because that's what it was the weekend.
Yeah.
And I actually think the performances are getting worse.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. I can't see them getting better. I just think that they are generally getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. At home
it's almost as though they feel as though they're bigger than. Stuff this sounds right. There are people in there at the moment that I feel think they're bigger than the manager, and that they can go out and turn in a performance as poor as what they want to do week in, week out. It makes no difference. They're going to be picked.
But why is he picking them? That's what I'm getting confused about. We can all see that. I mean, I'm not going to shout out names, but there's clear.
AI, this is the problem. Is AI picking? AI's picking all the players that we buy. Is AI picking the team? Is there clauses in some of these loan deals that we've got? Beadle, I honestly think there must be a clause in his contract that if he's fit, he has to play, because there's no way that he should be starting over Allsop. No way.
No,
he should be starting.
With him, I kind of get, but
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've always said that. I've said that for all season, haven't I? So I don't need to agree that one. We all know.
I just think he's stubborn. I don't think it's driven by any computer. I think Chris Davies is very stubborn and thinks it's going to work eventually, but it's getting painful now.
Stubbornness will be his downfall.
Yeah, I agree.
The most frustrating thing is we've shown that we can do it against Leeds at home, against Norwich. That first half against Norwich away, where's that gone?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was perfect, wasn't it? That first half at Norwich, really, more or less. Nobody would have complained if we were 3 or 4 up. We now just don't even look like having a shot. Never mind being 3 or 4 up. So, and I think if you'd have asked every single Blues fan in that stadium on Saturday what their team would have been, not one of them would have picked that team that was out at the beginning of the game.
No.
And it's just baffling, isn't it, Robe? And are you better now? Are you better now?
I'm 95%. I saw my sick bed over the weekend. Chilled, felt sick, and that was just watching the Blues. No, but I mean, Claire said a minute ago about Vicente. I mean, he's class. I don't get what he could have gone to Ajax. He could be playing for Ajax now. He scored against Real Madrid, and now he's sat on a bench at Derby. He's chased players. The Gaffer's chased players and doesn't. Well, he buys them and doesn't play them. Newman has just gone. You got more chance of seeing Gary Newman alongside Clara now, to be honest. But it's bonkers, and you can't sugarcoat anything. I think the time's up for him. He's got to go. They need a new voice in that changing room, because it's so obvious that they're just not taking on board whatever he's saying or whatever they're doing on the training pitch. But yeah, I mean, it's going toxic, and that Blackburn game, like Craig said, it's going to be awful, because the toxicity will be out the roof. It'll be unbearable, and it shouldn't be like this with a squad like that. Well, I've got the biggest budget in our history, and it's come to this. We're all sat around moaning about being in the top 10. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, if they go and turn Blackburn over, obviously, and play well, then we can. Again, obviously, I know that a few people will probably drop out. Now we're not going to get in the playoffs. There's probably a few fans that won't bother going. I noticed against Sheffield United, it felt like there was less in the stadium.
Same with QPR, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hey, I know a couple of people who said that season tickets, but I'm not going to bother again this season. That's it. They're done. They'll do something else.
The thing is, though, these season tickets at the start of the season were not sold on us being 11th in the league, were they?
No.
And, I mean, we do. You can sit here and say we have to have a bit of patience, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, no disrespect, but real fans will continue buying them.
No matter what.
Yeah. No matter what.
Yeah. We were sat there 8-0 down against Bournemouth. I was sat there, you know what I mean? So
just remember, we always support the club. There'll be managers and players will come and go. We will still be here, and I think that's what they don't realise. And I think is that, to me, Davies has had plenty of opportunities to change it. I think he's too stubborn. I think that we were hyped on the playoffs and everything else, but there's been so many opportunities that we were being so close to getting them. We shouldn't have lost. We shouldn't have drawn. Against Sheffield. Did we draw against Sheffield Wednesday at home?
Yeah.
West Brom. Hull.
I mean,
There's
Stoke.
been so many opportunities. that we've had to win games, but we can't make anything going forward. And even last year, especially, we should have been steamrolling teams. We were never doing that. We got a goal and then we sat back. We don't create chances. When he first came in, we had an identity. We were possession-based, intensity, going forward at pace, everything else. And when we first started and we see glimmers of it, we were doing that. Now that's not it. We're so slow and methodical. Literally, you can guess every single pass. It's boring. The fact is, Damari Gray will stand there and wait and then pass the ball. Awata won't see. Literally, you see these runs. I went, there's a run, there's a run, there's a run. Priski's doing it. Stano's doing it. Vicente's doing it. But then they're not getting the ball. So what's the point?
Yeah.
If you're not even going to have a shot against a third-choice goalkeeper, there's no point playing. The aim of the game is to score goals. The 18-yard box, you're allowed to go in there, Blues.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what? If he went 5-3-2 at one point, I thought, 5-3-2, he's gone for this. And then all of a sudden, I see Osman at left wing back, and we're gone 5 at the back against a Derby team.
And he said, didn't he say that he wasn't going to overcoach Osman as well?
Going for it.
It's like watching.
I think the big. Sorry,
go on, mate.
I think the big thing for me is the inconsistency of what the season's been about, isn't it? We've beaten people like Millwall that are third in the league, 4-0 at home, and then you go and you don't have a shot in a lot of the other games. Like, we got to also remember as fans that last year was a walk in the park, and I never expected 111 points, but I never expected not to go up last year with the team that we had. And this season, if we did finish 10th and 11th and we had actually played well in games, then it's a pretty good season when you think about being in the bottom 6 of the championship for the last 4 or 5 years before we went down. This is our highest championship position we've had now for probably 7 or 8 years. Yep. But I think it's the biggest frustration is it's the way they're doing it. It doesn't look like they're bothered. And I think that's where, paying fans, and like I said, I've been to one game, so I'm not going to shout that I was let down in that game, but I mean, for paying fans that go every week, that's the real frustration, is that we've got players that can do it, but players that don't look like they care right now.
No, yeah, he needs to.
I think what you just said there regarding, like, we're used to it. We've been in this position. We've been, it's a better position than previous years. Equally, it's a better club. It's a safer club. It's got more money. There's a bigger budget, so expectations will be bigger. All the time.
100%.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm watching someone playing table football in real life, but someone's took the first 2 poles out with the players on, and they put them beyond the halfway line, if you know what I mean. And it genuinely is like that. They were just going sideways and backwards, and it's like they're moving the poles up and down, and our players are just going sideways and sideways, and we're not getting enough players forward. And even
should have put me, Claire, and Tally on up top second half. We'd have sorted them out, would we?
Well, you still wouldn't have had no service, though, would you?
That's the
problem. So playing like this, we could genuinely have Haaland and Kane as a front 2 and we wouldn't score.
Still wouldn't score, no?
No.
You wouldn't even give them the ball. I just think, and I know that I'm seeing a lot of people on the chat saying, we're going to be the highest we've been in years. And I get that. And that's a really good thing. It shows how far we've come. It's the frustration about the performances. It's the frustration about we're playing some of these teams that we should be, being at least competitive against. That's what you want to be, competitive, especially away from home. At least show a bit of pride and wanting to play for the badge. We're not seeing that. And I know we've come far. And yeah, if we were 10th and we were playing really good football and everything else, we wouldn't be complaining. But it's how we're playing that's the problem. We're not an excited team. You watch Coventry, Middlesbrough, and people like that, and they are going for it. And we're thinking, why can't we do that?
Yeah, you are going to lose the odd game doing it, though. Obviously, of course you are. You're not going to win every game. I don't think anyone expects us to win every game. But you can take losing as long as you've had a go and you've posed a threat to the opposition. I'll use my analogy again. It's a boxer with his hands tied behind his back, innit? That's what it is. No punches thrown whatsoever again. 90 minutes of football plus stoppage time without a single shot on target is ridiculous, isn't it? But Robe, what was you going to say?
So I was going to say it's frustrating because I think it's been a weaker championship than normal. Probably the weakest one in 3 or 4 years, which is really frustrating. I Well, I think I'll be gobsmacked if the gaffer's there in start of next season. I really will. I think he could probably win every game from now to the end of the season. I think he'll still be done.
No, I think if he wins the next few games, which I can't see, but if he wins the next few games, I think they'll give him a start into next season. I just think that.
I think it's gone. I think too many fans have turned. I generally think the tendencies are going to drop. And also, have you seen, since Charlton, we haven't sang We've Got Super Chrissy Davies at all. So
it's changed. Chris is so upset. He's walked off.
Yeah.
I think the recruit. Listen, I'm not the recruitment of the players. Again, people have got good things and bad things to say about that. But for me, you still need experience in this league. You look at the top 6 teams, and Coventry's running away with it. Middlesbrough are a good team, but there's not massive amounts of. You look at the other teams, and it's just hard work, and it's just big, experienced players in the team. It's not something like we're going for all these young ones, and again, Prisk. I'm not sure he can do it yet. Not saying that he's not going to do it in a few years' time, but he's not the striker to have in what we're trying to do right now. For me, when you look at you look at the Wrexhams and people like that have got these, strikers that have been around the Championship for years, and they're going to get you a goal. It's just we don't have that. We don't have a leader on the pitch. I don't think somebody. I always say it, and people say I'm stupid to say it, but we don't have a Barry Bannon type midfielder or something like that. Someone that's going to pull the strings a little bit in there, and it lets us down massively.
Yeah, I'd like to see Prisk on the end of some of these Kyogo chances that he had earlier on in the season, to be honest. I can only recall him having one chance at Oxford away when he went through one-on-one, and, it was a good save from their keeper, to be fair. That's all I can really recall him, and obviously the goal he had disallowed against the Baggies, which he put away well. But apart from that...
I think what we saw from Saturday was that they're not playing him in the balls that are going to him are up in the air or at his chest or play it central, put it on the ground. I mean, forget about Prisk. Think about Jay. Jay's had no one feeding him anything.
No.
It's not because he was just in League One that he was able to do it. He's perfectly capable of doing it in any league. He's a decent player, but he's not getting fed anything. The odd cross across the front of the defenders, and that's not the Jay Stansfield football.
No. I mean, we didn't really blow many teams away, even in League One, did we?
No.
Can I just ask though? Do you think a lot of this? How much of this would change if there was a decent backroom staff with us?
Don't know.
I think we've got a manager though, Craig, that is. I think that's a part of what he wants. I think you can tell that he's the leader in all this, and he wants to be the number one man. I talked about it on the chat earlier. You had people like Alex Ferguson years ago who wanted his assistants to do the job, and he wanted to sit back and manage. You can tell with Davis, he's been an assistant for so long. He's very smart in the football analysis part from his job at Liverpool and stuff like that. He wants to be that number one now, and he doesn't want someone behind him that's more experienced or more controlled than he is. I think it's a skill of his that he's doing it on purpose in regards to having people inexperienced behind him and learning from him and not him learning from them, if you know what I mean there. So I think that's where, and we said, these are going to be the kick in the teeth for him in his jobs, because he's never going to get the success he wants to get unless he starts to share the load with other people within the club.
Yeah, he's got to relinquish a little bit because it's just. I mean, it'll be his own downfall if he doesn't. And I think the one thing I can honestly say at the moment is I don't see him learning from what is happening. If anything, he's digging himself an even bigger hole because he is not swapping things about. He is not giving opportunities to make changes. But the other thing is, we don't have a leader on the field. We've got a captain in Clara who, I'll go back to Saturday. I didn't see him once when things were not going right. I didn't see him once giving that backside kicking to the players on the field. That shout, that scream, that grab somebody by the scruff of the neck and saying, "What the hell are you doing?" Get your asses into gear type of scenario. You just don't see that. And we are missing a born leader. And I don't.
I saw it more in League One. It was weird. I saw it a lot more in League One with him, but in this one, he seems to be the calibre of players changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, he got away with it in League One. I think he had his own way in League One. He hasn't got his own way at the moment, and everything went right in League One. There's only a few games where we could all go around and think, okay, we didn't play to our true potential, but that's because we were a big fish in a very small pond, and it was as simple as that last season. This season, he's been caught out. And there are times when I would say, actually, do you know what? I'd drop him. I think he needs that kick in the teeth himself. He needs dropping himself to realise he's not big and too big to be left out. We need somebody that will just take the scruff of the neck of players and go into that dressing room. And if at half time they're not playing to their capabilities, right, we should hear that the captain stood up and went, "Go on, get your backside into gear. This is what you should be doing. This is what you should be hearing." Right? Look at it this way. If we had a player that took half of what you saw from Paul Robinson going into the dressing room and not being afraid to give a rollicking to players when they're not performing, we'd have had a lot better performances across this season. And there is nobody in there that's doing that. We can't solely put it down to a manager. We can put that down to stubbornness and, things like that. But also the players themselves. Let's face it, how many of them can honestly say away from home they've earned their shirt? At home, it's different. And I just do not get how we can be so polar opposite when we play away from home.
I've never known anything like it, Craig.
It's unbelievable.
I just backing onto that with Craig though. I'm in true. I like Davies. I think from a coach's point of view, he's smart in the game, and I do blame the players a lot as well for it. I think as comments are coming in, there's some truth to the fact that Davies can only do certain amounts. I know that as a coach myself. And listen, I just coach kids, so it's a little bit different than pros. But I mean, you can only go to a certain line before the players have to step up and do it themselves. And I don't think the players are yet. And I don't know if that's because they don't respect the manager or they're not understanding the coaching he's giving. I can't answer that question. But the biggest thing for me, the frustrating thing for me walking out of Saturday's game was my frustration wasn't with Davies. My frustration was with the players on the pitch, because I think whatever team he picked, those 11 players he had on the team sheet at the start were capable of putting in a better performance than they did in that first half for sure.
Yeah. But no, he needs to make wholesale changes to the team against Blackburn now. He needs to realise that it's not right. And starting in goal, he needs to put Allsop back in goal. I'd put Neumann in with Clara. I'd definitely play Solis and Doyle in midfield. I'd play Laird right back. We haven't got a left back, so I'll probably go, Robinson left back maybe for the time being until Wagner comes back. I don't know if there's any chance of Wagner playing.
I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, the Blackburn game. They said they're working towards the Blackburn game with him coming back.
So Wagner left back then. I'd have Osman or Gray on the left. You can take your pick between the two. And then I'd probably go Stansfield and Prisk with Roberts down the right or Vicente. I'd probably say Roberts edges it for me right now at the moment because he's been pretty good lately. When he's had the chance, that is.
I think just on Saturday's one though, what shocked me the most is if you're playing three. I didn't mind three centre backs, but just keep a Water right back and play Laird left back like you were anyway, and have them two playing as wing backs, and then Solis stays in midfield with Paik or Doyle. I think the biggest shock was putting Osman where he did, wasn't it? Because he was absolutely clueless in the position he was in, and it just changed the whole setup of the team. Yeah,
and that's not the player's fault, is it? Because that's not his position.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing, is you're giving someone too much of a big job for what he's capable of doing. But it's their decisions he makes, and I think what Tally said at the start was perfect. I think he was probably forced into making a change because he wanted the fans to react, to go, "Oh, look, he's changed something today."
Yeah. But then the changes weren't good enough, and the thing is that some of it, well, I know that I am. I'm fed up of him not taking players off that aren't playing well. Iwata has not played well for so many games. He's not. We've got. If you're led, you've come back in and you're left back, and you're thinking, okay, I'm covering. But if Wagner comes back, am I going to play? Even if I'm playing well. Asai Samuel has come from Turkey, and now he's third choice right back.
Yeah.
Behind
Iwata.
A centre back who is playing at right back. So there's going to be some discontent. Paik is injured. He's injured. He's only playing because he wants to get in the squad for the World Cup.
Yeah.
So he's injured. So then he might have a really bad game. So I can't remember what game it was that he wasn't great at. He would not get dropped. And the thing is, you play players who are on form. And do you know what? If Paik and Iwata are not on form, Davies, drop them and play players that are on form. Doyle and Solis, I'd love to see those two together. Yeah. I think that would be great. If you had Wagner at left back, Laird at right back, I think, Paul, your team is exactly what I'd play.
Yeah.
And I generally think Iwata needs a break, and I think Paik needs a break. And I think that you can't keep playing the same players, and it's so obvious. Iwata were playing goal if he had to keep him on.
I think for me, with the substitutions, like when you saw the people on the bench coming up, warming up, I thought, here we go. Naturally, Iwata's coming off. No. Someone tapped me on the shoulder and went, no. Iwata will go right back, Laird will come off, and that's how you'll put your midfielders on. That's how it's done every time. And I don't unless Laird was injured, which I didn't see, or he's watching his, obviously they're all monitored now. So watching his levels, but he didn't look injured to me. So straight away, he puts Iwata in on the right hand side. It just didn't make sense. As you say, it gets boring to say, but why won't you just take him off, put him on the bench and bring a player on that's better, or someone that will change it slightly? He just won't do it.
That makes sense.
I don't think you need coaching badges or to have a degree in football to know this.
No.
And so many of our fans that I speak to and everyone here is all saying pretty much the same thing, So all the fans can't be wrong, more or less.
Can I just reply back to Dom Kavanagh? I think it's because they say yes. So I think that Iwata and Paik play because they will agree. And I think that they will play the way that Davies will want to play. So I think that they do suit his cautious approach. Because when Iwata gets the ball, Iwata is a really good squad player to have. He can play in lots of positions, but he's not the best players now in the positions. Should be. Iwata needs to be someone who comes on. Say if we're like 70 minutes and we're 1-0 up, then you put Iwata on, you're thinking, all right then. The fact is, totally agree with you, Tally. I couldn't believe it when Laird went off. And the thing is that everybody else needs minutes, but when Iwata and Paik come back from injury, they play the full 90.
Straight in,
Doyle needed 60 minutes. Laird needs his time. Everyone else needs time, apart from those two players. And it baffles me. And he said the word bewildered today, and I said to my mum, I'm going to come out with it. It's bewildering us. I don't get it. I don't understand it anymore because... Yes, they've got an engine. I think Paik's played well the last couple of games. Not going to lie, I think some of the games he's played well. But it's the Iwata taking him off. The fact he would even play him centre back, and it's such a weird situation. I don't know another club. If anyone wants to put it on the message board, is there another club where there's favourites going on? Because even Haaland gets taken off for Man City if he's not playing.
Well, I now see Iwata in the same sort of way as I saw Taylor Gardner-Hickman last season with the squad of players that we've got. Taylor Gardner-Hickman come in the squad when we needed him and come into the team and did a good job, but he wasn't starting week in, week out, no matter what. And that's how I see Iwata now. I would rather have John Solis over Iwata in central midfield, every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
100%.
And the problem is, Paul, we're going to lose people like Solis. He'll just get annoyed. He'll just want to think, forget this, I'm off. Same with Vicente's been here 5 minutes, but he's going to get annoyed. He might want to leave. And these good signings are just going to lose interest. And it's so frustrating because they're great players. What the hell are they doing on the bench every week? Don't get it. Don't get it. And we've said about... Sorry, I just saw the comments about people not renewing the tickets or not even bothering to go. The board are going to have an eye on this and think, hang on, our renewals are going to be really low, and it's all wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that we can enjoy, just flipping it round a little bit. I hope we can enjoy our highest finish for years in the Championship, because we're only 3 points off 17th, aren't we?
Yeah.
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 So if we carry on playing like we did on Saturday, we're going to finish 17th or even below that, possibly. We're not going to go down, but I'm just saying I do think that we could end up in our same old
Usual.
position. Yeah.
Same old. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't want that.
It's like Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Yeah. I hope that's not the case, and I hope that they do address it and it can improve. Because we have seen good things under Chris Davies. I don't want to sit here and say it's all been bad.
No.
But it's been a while now, hasn't it, since we played really well? And we're definitely
caught out. We're too predictable. I've seen so many comments on the board saying the same thing, and I think the one that's resonated the most has come up a couple of times now, which is we're watching a Birmingham game. What's going to happen on 60 minutes? He's going to make a substitution, right? Yeah. And every team that's out there that's now scouting Blues is going, right, 60 minutes, he's going to swap it up. What we're going to do? Oh, we'll just match what he does across the midfield. Because without fail, that's where the changes take place. Actually, look at the weekend. After 45 minutes, he should have just turned around and gone, making changes now. Yeah. Because
should have been
Darren Carter said it on WM, right? It wasn't totally and utterly not noticed by people when you look at what happened once he changed the midfield about. We became more attacking, we had more opportunity, we had more on the ball. It was arguably our best spell. Once he
people played in their positions, that's why.
Yeah. And the other thing was we became front foot, we became a forward-looking team. But that change should have been happening at half-time. That change shouldn't have happened at 60 minutes, right? What is this 60-minute rule? It's like, what's going to happen on 75 minutes? Oh, the goalkeeper's going to go down with cramp, right? How many times do we now see that in games? It's predictable. And
Craig, the thing is that they stand on the sideline, I think, for between 5 or 10 minutes. So they've all warmed up, ready to go. And then they're stood there, and there's plenty of times where they can bring them up.
Yeah, and the weekend, the other thing was, we started crossing balls and putting balls into the box. When we put Kyogo on, he's the smallest player on the field, who he should be running off the back of somebody flicking a ball on if that's what's going to happen. But instead, we were lumping it forwards every 5 minutes.
I just think it's an insult as well, bringing that poor lad on it with 10 minutes to go. I just think it's not worth it. It really isn't. You're not going to change a game. That sort of player is not going to change a game if it's not, for coming on for 10 minutes. It ain't going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul. I was going to say, does anyone think realistically Kyogo would flourish under anyone else, or do you reckon he's just a complete dud?
I don't know. It depends where he goes. If he goes to a different league, I mean, he'd bag loads of goals in League One, wouldn't he? And if he went back to Celtic, no doubt he'd score loads in that league as well.
He was getting fed though. Don't get me wrong. Beginning of the season, he missed some corkers, didn't he? But if you put him in, he would make no more difference than Stansfield at the moment because nothing's going their way.
No,
they're not being fed by anybody.
See, that tells you something. Kyogo was their number one player, wasn't he, Celtic? He was the first name on the team sheet. They've obviously let Iwata go and haven't really thought much about it. I'm not saying Iwata's a bad player or anything, but I don't think he was held as a top player at Celtic, was he, like Kyogo was?
No.
We just don't play the through ball. Like, there's so many times you see the runs, and if you see a lot of teams play, they do play down the middle. Yeah. So when we play our best football at home, you'll see we go down the middle, then we get it out wide. And I just think that we just need some more through balls. Like Kyogo, at least he was making the runs to get it, and at least he was in that position. I know he missed some absolute brilliant chances. Obviously, not good enough for the amount of money he's on and everything else. But at least he made those runs to have it. Like, there's so many times where we've had one-on-one situations. Yeah. But then now, also, it's constantly, you get it down the middle, you go left, you go right, you're looking, then you got to get it out wide, then you got to cross it in. We cross it up when it's stand low, and then we cross it low when it's brisk. It doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
We asked him to change it, but I wasn't expecting so negative.
No.
Like 5-4-1 is such a negative. Like if we were playing like I don't know, Leeds or Newcastle, for example, in the cup, and we went 5-4-1, you get that. But Derby away, you're playing 5-4-1 that nobody's ever seen you do before. It didn't make any sense.
This is weird for me because I'm getting similar feelings here. I don't know about you lot, and everyone watching, but I'm getting similar feelings here to when Southgate was England manager. You know, he did a good job as England manager. He had phenomenal players to choose from. I'm not saying our players are phenomenal, but I think they're good enough to get us to a higher level than where we're at. And they're capable of producing a lot more, but he just will not let the shackles off. Like he did at Norwich in the first half, for some reason I don't know where that come from now, on the evidence that I've seen since. So I've just got a similar sort of feeling. When Southgate was England manager, it was similar, wasn't it? Don't you think?
There's almost a fear.
Yeah,
was that the players?
No, it was Southgate. It was Southgate. The way Southgate set the team up was very defensive, wasn't it?
But what I was going to say from your comment there is it the players going sod this and going for it, or is he coaching that? And I don't know. Like Saturday, it looked like the players didn't really care. Other than I think Paik was the only player on the pitch that really you could see that he was trying to do something, but just no one else was, playing ball. But against Norwich, they like Samuel. He was pushing forward, and then it was like they weren't listening to Davies. It's like they went sod this. We're flair players. This is what we're going to do. And they bagged 2 goals quite quick. Well, what was it? An offside one as well. So bagged 2 goals quite quickly. But after that, it's almost like, you've got to play Davies football. I'm not being just negative about Davies, but I think you can't have flair players like we've bought and they suddenly don't know how to be, attacking anymore.
No, in that documentary.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, no. I mean, just going back less than a year, last summer, in that documentary, I felt a togetherness watching it. If that was to be aired now for this season, do we think it would be the same or would it be a lot different?
How would it be badged? You know what I mean? That was badged as a. Let's face it, right? You could write a script for a film for that because everybody knew that should have and was a complete walk in the park. Last season, and I think this is where perhaps some of the fans and actually the board need to learn a little bit.
Yeah.
Was last season.
The hustle doesn't have to hurt. If performance pressure is making it hard to breathe, Grow Therapy helps you navigate stress, set boundaries, and actually feel like yourself again. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/start now to get started. That's growtherapy.com/start now. growtherapy.com/start now. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Was easy.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it. It was easy. And I know we had to do stuff to swap it around to get to where we did. But we did buy the league. Right? There's absolutely no doubt in it.
Yeah.
This season, we've been found out, and we've been found out because we've tried to go down a very similar route. We've been found out because we don't have experience. What we've got is a team here at the moment, or a group of players, that have the capability, have the calibre to play in this league, but have never experienced a league like it. And that's where we've been found out. And we go back to this lack of experience within a team, right? When you look at all of those that are around the playoff spots, they have a mixture of flair players and those that, when they've got to put the foot in, they'll put the foot in. And it doesn't matter whether it's pretty or not, they will just get involved. And we don't have that. Now, I've seen loads of comments on the board saying this is this is people's expectations being set too high, and this is us as fans thinking, we've got this calibre of players, we should be doing better, right? If these players have been together potentially since the summer window, then yes, you could argue that a little bit more. But actually, what we've seen is players coming in January that have had a few games, and then either gone off the boil or it's been swapped around because we've had various things go on that have resulted in them not continuing to play together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how would we all feel on here? And a question to us, you know, and if we'd have started the season with these players that we have now, would we be feeling different in regards to the position that we're in the league? And I think the answer for me straight off is, I would have been saying a lot longer ago that Davies should go if we'd have been continuing with this calibre of players and not getting the results. Yeah. But then there's the counter argument to that, which is we are still progressing and we have still got a massive lack of experience across the board. So, again, like some of the comments, we can't go around, and I think I've read one, can't go around shopping in the window for managers based on a name. We have to give experience and opportunity, and we have to give chance to build. Is this season the first of many steps that need to be taken to build? Have we, as fans, got used to this winning mentality too much? You know, have we underestimated the league? I think some of us have, and I think there's then realists out there that have said, no, we've stuck by this throughout. There's other comments around been season ticket holders for years, saying that I won't renew doesn't mean I'm not a true fan. I don't think we're saying that at all. I think what we are, though, beginning to realise and see, and every fan out there will see this, is that we have got a group of people that have joined the party because we had a fantastic season last season and thought we were going to go and walk this division. Yeah, it was never, ever, ever going to happen.
Well, can I add to that though, Craig? Can I just add to that though? The reason that our home form has been so good as well is for that reason, because we've been selling out most home games.
Selling out, yeah.
And if that drops suddenly to between 22 and 25,000 every game, I think you'll see a difference in the home performances then as well.
People are leaving early.
Yeah, but do you know what? People leaving early has always been the case, but they've left early quite often because we've been 2 or 3-0 up in a league game. Yeah. And then people do stick around or do leave early. This part of, you know, I got my season ticket this season, I'm not going to be renewing next if Chris Davies is in charge, right? I don't get that mentality. I appreciate people's frustrations, but I don't get that mentality at all. No. We're there through thick and thin.
We survived Steve Cottrell, for God's sake.
Yeah, Steve Cottrell said that comment.
I mean, you could list so many managers that you could list so many managers in the past that makes you want to question what you've spent your money on. But equally, I don't do it for the manager. I don't go there just for the manager or the players. I go there because Birmingham City is my football club.
Exactly. Yeah,
100%.
In your blood, isn't it?
Totally agree. Mark Meredith, tell us about your week, mate. You arrived. When did you arrive in the UK? And tell us, you've had more clubs this week than Tiger Woods, ain't you?
Seriously, mate. We came in on the 13th, Friday the 13th. I bought my under-16s from Sting over there in the States over. So a lot of them hadn't travelled before, so we pretty much packed in a whole load of things. So we were hosted by United in Manchester. We got lucky. We got to train 4 times at Carrington, so obviously that's the home of the first team.
Yeah.
So we got to be there for 4 days, which was a massive experience for the boys. The first team was training on the field just next to where we were.
Good for you as well. Was that good for you as well?
Yeah, it was great. It was great to see. Yeah. Obviously, I've never been to Carrington. Well, I've been there like on a day off for the players, where it's been just games for the academy teams and stuff way back. But the facilities are just out of this world. And you know, Robin van der Laan was our coach for the week. So again, we learned a lot from Robin. His experience as a player, and then obviously now as a coach. He's been at United now over 20 years coaching in their international school.
Play for Wolves, didn't they?
Yeah, and Barnsley and Port Vale and Derby. He scored the winning goal actually to send Derby into the Premier League that 1 year at the baseball ground. So. But yeah, another good experience. And then obviously the boys got to see some live games, which is massive for them because they watch it on TV all the time. So we got to see United Villa last week, which was great to see Villa lose. And that stand emptied like there was a fire drill after 2-1. So that was fun to watch.
Can you stop saying their name?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And then Tuesday we got to see City Madrid, which again, Champions League experience then for the boys to go to that. The game was pretty much over before it started, obviously with the red card and it being 3-0 down, but just to be in the stadium for them was great. We got stadium tours at Wolves, at Liverpool, at United and City, so they got to see behind the scenes at all those 4 stadiums as well. And then thrown into the mix, they played 3 games. They lost 1 and drew 2, so they did pretty well, to be fair, coming over, never playing on English soil before. You know, drawing 2 games was 2 good results for them. So, yeah, they flew back Saturday morning to Texas, and then I ended up staying and going to watch that, what we should call shit show on Saturday, if you're allowed to say that. And then yesterday, I went to the final, went to City versus Arsenal yesterday. So that was a decent game to go to as well. And we sat in the City end, my dad and I, so we obviously got a winning feel as well from that side. So it's a little bit more quieter now for the rest of the week, and then I'll be flying back to Texas on Friday.
Yeah, I'd have been fuming if I was an Arsenal fan. I mean, obviously we've all seen them firsthand losing that match at Wembley before, haven't we? What a day that was. But just coming back to my point, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be fuming at Arteta for not playing the best goalkeeper. And I know it's all right saying it after the event, but when there's such a big golfing class between the two, and you haven't won a trophy for 5.5 years, you've got to pick your best team, haven't you? Surely.
No, 100%. I thought that as soon as I seen the team, actually. And then, it was a really boring first half, wasn't it, for anybody that watched it? And then City were just explosive second half. But yeah, you've got it for Arsenal, for them ones who are, and again, the crazy thing is they could still win the treble. And so I don't know if that's in his mindset that this is, and it shouldn't be. He should want to win every cup, but I wonder if he just thought this is the smaller cup out of the 4 that they could have won. Yeah. And then they'll have a push now for obviously the Premier League, which I think they probably will win this year. And then they've still got the FA Cup. They've got, I think they got Southampton in the FA Cup, haven't they? So that's a winnable game. And then Champions League, they've probably got the easiest Champions League draw out of the draws that came through. So they've still got a chance there. But I don't think they'll do the treble, but it's obviously still on. But yeah, you could see it was brought back so many memories of seeing them Arsenal fans get up and walk out way before the end of the final whistle. So yeah, it was fun to watch. Fantastic. But again, I could have been in the Arsenal. I could have chosen to go in the Arsenal end and then been sat there watching City celebrate. So I picked the right side, I think, this week.
I have to ask though. You're only an hour. You're at the Custard Bowl touring there with the players. You're only an hour away from the home of football. Why didn't you go there and do a tour?
I know, I should. We actually couldn't get in at that time we were doing it. We had a game Monday. The Wolves were a part of the deal that we signed when we came over. They were a team. Man United and Wolves were the teams that were hosting us. So I'd already dropped the friendly game against Wolves, so I couldn't also drop the stadium tour. And then we were looking to come into Birmingham and go just by the around by the Garrison and stuff because a load of Peaky Blinder American fans on the bus, but the traffic was just crazy. So I saved it and I went and did the Birmingham stuff this morning with my dad. So it was nice just to go back home. And the first time I've had my picture taken with the statue, so I was really impressed with the outside of the ground with the TF statue and stuff like that. And then spent too much money in the club shop, like learning from Mr. Jones here, I think.
Mark, what did you buy from the club shop?
I can't tell you, but I'll tell you Friday after I've left.
Bringing it back onto Blues anyway. So, Chris, we got any good questions or comments coming in? I know we can see them on the left, but any that have caught your eye that you want to mention? One that caught my eye actually. Someone said earlier, I didn't pick up the name now, sorry, but someone said earlier, is there any player that Chris Davies has improved?
No.
Can't think of any.
No.
Can I just put it out? I'm going to ask the question. Everyone on the panel, are you Davies in or Davies out?
Right now, or are we talking today, or are we talking at the end of the season?
Now.
Now.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah, I'm in till the end of the season myself as well.
Yeah,
I'm in till the end of the season.
Right.
I am as well.
I'm in till May and then get someone else.
Mm.
I think it's pointless.
I'm out. I am.
No, you want
to. I think you've got a really big opportunity here to get someone established and know the squad. To be fair, Millwall changed it for me, and then after Charlton, it cemented it. I changed completely. Even if we won every single game, I just think that he's just so out of his depth. I think he lacks experience. Obviously, if you want to put it on the chat, let me know, Davies in or Davies out. But I just think he's lost a lot of the fan base. It's so frustrating. If they gave him to the end of the season, then okay. And we kind of would get why with everything else going on. But I can't see it changing. And I think the thing is that it will paper over the cracks if we win at home. But Blackburn, they're fighting for things. Everybody around, it's really difficult.
At least,
but I'm Davies out, unfortunately.
If Davies did go tomorrow and we did bring in someone like Thomas, made a statement with the manager as well, like Thomas Frank or Maresca or someone like that, then obviously I'd be well on board with that. But there's no point getting rid of him if you're just going to bring another manager in that's inexperienced.
I would generally have an interim manager, similar to like what we've done before. Someone who knows the football club, someone who's got a bit of heart and a bit of oomph.
Who's that? Who would it be there?
Well, Carsley wouldn't come because he's too busy with England internationals. You need somebody like I couldn't tell you who. I'd have to think about it.
Changing the summer again.
I'll tell you what.
It's got to be something. There's got to be a change because he's had enough time now. Like generally, I just think that he needs some time. I think the international break is a perfect time. Absolutely perfect time to bring somebody in. Give them the rest of the games. There's so many managers out there that you can go for. Solskjaer would be one that I would probably say. I don't think we'll get Carrick. I generally think he'll get the Man U job. I think that, I've said Thomas Frank. I think he would be brilliant. I think you've got to ignore anyone that goes to Tottenham. You're on your way out. But I could also see if Chris Davies wanted to jump him going back to Tottenham as well.
The thing is, though, it's going to be a lot more difficult next season because I honestly believe that Tottenham are going to be in our league next season. I really do.
I'll tell you what, though, can you imagine as an interim manager somebody like Liam Dace for that lot?
Oh, yeah. Roy Keane.
But that's almost right. So I think the Chris. I want to come back on a comment on the board. So Bill Mintz has said, "Well done, Claire. The rest of us are sheep." No, I disagree, and I'll tell you why I disagree.
Why are we sheep? I don't get it.
I actually agree.
He's going at the end of the season, and I think there's two things here. The season is done and dusted, and I agree with Claire that if we had somebody lined up now, right, if this club was going to do something, it would have happened today. They wouldn't have waited, right? They would have done it today. What I think we need is somebody to come in and shove a rocket up the arses of the players in the dressing room. We need somebody like Robbo that's going to come in.
Yeah.
And Daesh, or somebody like...
It ain't going to happen.
7 sorts of whatever out of them in the dressing room and say,
I think,
look at what you're doing.
It's not going to happen.
You've got to look at it as well, and I'm not putting it in here just because of obviously with Wagner's situation, whatever. But you've got somebody. Wagner came in and was a massive force in everything that we've been doing. He's obviously got sick and stepped away, and nobody really knows the true source of how he is right now, and it's difficult. And to go and sack the manager with whoever's in charge right now, and then all that going on behind the scenes of getting a new manager in to fit it and whatever else. As we just said, the season's over for us now. We're not going down. We're not going to go up. I would play it out until the end of the season, honestly, and then I would then look at, right, in the summer, bring someone in. You've got the transfer window ahead of you. Go and get, put some money into it. Go and get a squad and come in fresh next year, and let's have a really good go at it. But that's my point on it, is that there's a lot going on the backroom stuff that none of us fans really know the true extent of what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying there, but we touched on it on Saturday. Where's Tom Brady? He hasn't been to any games this season.
He was never going to be a big part of it, though, was he?
Yeah, but there's a documentary
He's got
named after him.
He's got about 7 clubs that he's involved
That's
in.
the problem. He was in it for the documentary, but he runs the Raiders, the NFL. He's on Fox every week doing the NFL. He football for him, English football is not his main breadwinner, and it's not his main love.
Totally,
it never is going to be.
Understand it.
So
totally understand
he's never going to be the one to lead it. And so if Touchwood, Wagner will come back strong, but if Wagner does step away, then again there's that then who's the actual leader above us then, and not just the manager, but at that level as well, going on with all the ideas of the new ground and all that sort of stuff. You need someone to take hold of that as well.
I know what you mean about the Brady. Again, I understand it's only a minority investment, but to have we're talking about fans that have come on board because of last season. They've watched the documentary. There's all this buzz. They speak to Brady on interviews when he's in America, and he'll say, "Oh yeah, promotion." It needs that little bit of, I don't know. I think he should have visited by now. I think at least one game this season. I mean, the second series, what's it going to be called? Because he ain't come to a game.
Tally and the Blues, I heard.
Bobby Williams has come to more games than Brady.
Exactly.
Rovers. It'll be called Beagle and the Blues.
Yeah, the Blues.
That's part of his clause in his loan deal, to be part of the...
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to know, because I think the fan base is so split at the moment that it's going to be really difficult, because even when me and my mum left the last home game, there were people arguing in the street.
Yeah.
And the thing is that everyone that left that stadium on Saturday was like, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Yeah.
And I think that the thing is that I think if you go to a lot of home games, it's all right at the moment. If you go to away games, you're there, and there's a lot of people that will agree with me, because I know that obviously Tally goes to a lot of them, but I can't see him changing. He's been so stubborn the whole way through. I mean, you're playing Duck, who doesn't run. You're playing a Watter that's your favourite, and Paik. I would generally have to see whole full-blown changes to this team. Again, Paul, the team that you put out is probably our best team that we've got, but he won't do it.
No.
And
has he had that team now?
Favourites will be his downfall. And I said it on the show. We were all buzzing after the Oxford and Sheffield Wednesday games, and I said, wait for the Millwall, the Norwich and the Charlton game. And from then on, that was it.
Claire was so annoyed, she just left me in the ground. I was like Kevin McAllister.
You walked off. I was trying to wait to let him.
Couldn't find my way out. Lost in Derby. I couldn't find my way home.
Lost in Derby.
Is that the new film? Are you away
That'll
from
be
home
it now, yeah. Mark Meredith lost in Derby.
Yeah.
So we've got a poll out, by the way. I don't know if obviously everyone's seen it, but if you haven't, then do give us your thoughts on that. And it's whether or not you think that basically the last 2 seasons have been a success overall. We've got 80% yes and 20% no. So I guess it's not all doom and gloom, is it? Judging by that. But yeah, something has got to change soon.
Progression has been made. I don't think there's one of us that can't say progression has been made. But the progression is being made in the background. We're seeing more happening with the infrastructure of the club and what's happening there than we've seen progression on the field. And I think that's probably what comes down to the vast majority of frustration of the fans. Look, at times, sometimes you want to just step back and go, I've heard enough around what's happening in the background, right? Yeah. What we want to see is a team. And again, a comment has come up so many times. If we'd have seen a team
trying but losing, and being in the position we are in the league now, we wouldn't be as racked off as what we actually are, and that's because we are seeing a team that isn't trying and therefore is sitting in a league, and people are beginning to scratch their heads and go, why? So it is progression. It's just it's progression in just some areas. If there was an equal balance, you'd be really, really happy. And you know.
Hi, this is Pablo Torre from Pablo Torre Finds Out, and today I want to talk to you about Boost Mobile, because we spend a lot of time analyzing inefficiencies in sports, overvalued contracts, money tied up in the wrong places, and so on. But those inefficiencies aren't just on a roster. Sometimes they're in your own monthly expenses. Boost Mobile says switching to their $25 unlimited forever plan can unlock up to $600 in savings a year. That's $25 a month for unlimited data, talk, and text when you bring your own phone. If that money is trapped in a pricey phone bill, it might be worth a second look. Visit boostmobile.com to learn more. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers pay $25 per month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan. Savings claim based on a January 2026 Boost Mobile survey of 1,000 Americans with single-line unlimited plans, comparing average annual payments of major carriers to 12 months on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan. For full offer details, visit boostmobile.com.
The hustle doesn't have to hurt. If performance pressure is making it hard to breathe, Grow Therapy helps you navigate stress, set boundaries, and actually feel like yourself again. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/start now to get started. That's growtherapy.com/start now. growtherapy.com/start now. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Yeah.
I think the worrying thing is, though, and everyone keeps saying about, oh, we're doing all this off the field, and I get it, but we'll struggle to sell 28,000 tickets if we continue to progress on the field like we are right now, let alone trying to sell 65,000 if we move into a new stadium. So that slows down the progression off the field if you can't get the backing on the field. You know, we're not going to sell 65,000 seats unless we're successful, and we certainly ain't going to sell them sitting 11th in the championship. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we'd only get 25 against Blackburn next week.
Yeah,
and that's just some season ticket holders not going, right?
No, it's just been brought to my attention that a lad has sadly not come home from the game at Derby. Is that right? He's gone missing.
So weird, yeah.
2 games since we were last on. So we had
away at Newcastle, first of all, was one of the games in hand that we had over Tabletop in Charlton. The ladies just didn't turn up for that game at all. It was disappointing, and we were beat by 2 good goals. However, you'd have looked at that and thought we were on the beach in that one instead of actually pushing and being second in the league. However, a good result and a hard-fought result at the weekend against Sheffield United. You know, going down as well, 1 down. It was a bit of a, oh, God, what's going to happen here? But they did come back into it. A great goal from Lily Crossway to get us the equaliser. And in the second half, it was all Birmingham. And it was actually like watching the ladies from the start of the season. So results also went our way in the league this weekend. Charlton losing at Bristol helped us gain on them. Then we had a 0-0 with the teams that were fighting below us as well. So Crystal Palace and Newcastle. So actually, it opens up opportunities in the league. We still have a game in hand over Charlton. We still have Charlton to play. We have a superior goal difference at present over Charlton as well. So, games at home still to come as well. It's still very, very tight, but we're sitting second. We have an opportunity to close that gap to just 3 points against Charlton, which would be absolutely fantastic with our game in hand. And there's no reason why we couldn't push on. And, it could. Last season came down to the last game of the season at St Andrews, where we missed out just on, not being able to score that third goal. This season could be the difference of going down to Charlton last game of the season and actually fighting for who's going to be champions, which would be absolutely awesome. In terms of the games that are still to come, we've also got an FA Cup game against Manchester City. I mean, what a game to test how far the ladies have come. An opportunity for fans to see those Women's Super League and some of the Lionesses down at St Andrews in the FA Cup. It is on Bank Holiday Monday. So the only thing I would say is it's a pain in the arse because we've got the men playing away at Ipswich and the ladies playing at home. So it would have been, looking and seeing what we can do and still progressing. But look, we've got some opportunities here. We've got some great games still to come, some tough games, and we need the support down at St Andrews more than ever. It was a good attendance the weekend, but it could be better. So if you can make a game, please do. And I'll put up details of all the games that we've got left. But most importantly, for those fans that when it comes to the last game of the season and the men playing down at Pompey, if you can't get a ticket, but we're still in the chance of getting that title at Charlton, then please, if you can get down to Charlton and back the ladies, because look, we might have a disappointing season with the men, but it could be a really positive and eventful season for the ladies. So let's help them get that over the line. And I know Amy and the team forever say it, having the fans there makes the difference. And it was said the weekend that the fans getting behind them helps support and drive them that extra step. And some of the performances we saw on Sunday, Oceana Hurt, fantastic to set up the goal. Going down the wing, she didn't just beat one or two players. She got past three and she skipped past them as though they were just, non-existent. And that was all because they had the fans pushing them on, giving them that little bit extra. And you could see that also shone through with then the second half and the way that the fans were up for it. So were the players. So we can get down to it.
Yeah, is there going to be an event? I mean, really, they should be catching on to this and showing the men. Obviously, we kick off at 3:00, don't we, on Bank Holiday Monday against Ipswich away? Mm-hmm. So they should open the fan park at least and some of the bars around where we've got screens and show the men's game because it's on Sky Sports Plus anyway. And then you got a few more. Obviously, then they can go straight from that to the women's game, can't they?
Yeah, and I would hope that the club are looking at that, and they do try different incentives to get people down. There is the group booking that's available for different things at the moment. So again, I'll post details around that. That's there. There are the schemes that our sister clubs are signed into. For those that are in the sister club, they can buy tickets and get them at a reduced rate for the games. They're already not expensive, but it gives an opportunity again for people to save a bit of money. Claire's been involved with the work through the schools and opportunities that they use through the schools as well. And I'm sure that if the club can do other things, they will look into it as we go down the season. But it's a great show, Paul, and we'll definitely deliver that back as feedback because I think it'll be a great idea for that to happen. And, Bank Holiday Monday as well. It's on TNT. So that's the reason why we are a 5:00 kickoff on that particular day. Frustrates the life out of me that TV can actually dictate as much as they possibly can regarding both games. Because it's the FA Cup game and that final league game of the season have both been changed for TV. It's frustrating.
that idea could put another couple of thousand on the gate, and it would probably give you an enhanced atmosphere as well, because everyone will be having a few sherbets, no doubt, from like 12, 1 o'clock anyway.
Well, not just that.
Both of those games, I'm absolutely gutted.
Yeah, the Man City game as an example, people will turn up because they're seeing the names. But what I would love nothing more is, look, if the attendance is 4,000 or 5,000 against Man City, great. That shows what is potential. But then those people that have turned up for that Man City game, right, let's see you there for the last 2 league games of the season as well. Because they can do that. And that can be the difference. That could be the difference between putting us into a position of fighting for potential champions or not. It can be the difference when you look at the league at the moment between 2nd and 4th. Because it is so close. And look, these teams that are above us is the only one's Charlton. Charlton have got a tough running. They've got to play teams in and around us as well. So actually, if everybody takes points off each other, there is no reason we can't move forwards. And we arguably have a little bit of an easier running than the teams that are also fighting. So, if you go to the FA Cup game, great, and I'm pleased that there'll be those sorts of numbers that are being forecast to be down there. But please turn up for the ladies' league games as well, because the FA Cup game is a one-off, right? We will all be honest and say, if we go into that game and we get a result, everybody's going to be scratching their heads thinking, my God, that's a shock. That will be classed as a shock if we get a result in the FA Cup. However, there should be no shock with us getting promoted out of this league and into the Women's Super League, playing those teams then week in, week out the following season. And that's what we all want to do. Don't want to do it as a one-off. I want to be there with them there week in, week out.
Would it be as much of a shock as our men beating Man City's men?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
There's that much of a golfing difference.
I followed Man City for years, and they are, the best team, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
Up there with Chelsea and Arsenal, so they're the top 3. But it would be.
Yeah. Good question here from Shadow. Out of the season so far, what games, if any, would you class as no-fear football? I mean, no-fear football. I don't even like saying it.
I put 4. I put Leeds at home in the Cup, Portsmouth at home, Norwich at home, and Ipswich first game of the season. I wouldn't put an away game.
I'd say Coventry at home a few weeks ago, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think the Norwich away first half wasn't it? Norwich away first half.
I think the 4-0, the 2 4-0 games, we beat Millwall and we beat somebody else, didn't we, in the same week?
Millwall, Portsmouth and Norwich. It was 4-0, 4-0, 4-1. But I mean, it just seems to have changed to fear football, like I said earlier, doesn't it?
You probably count on one finger.
Yeah. I can't blame
We're fearful of playing no fear football. That's probably one of our issues at the present moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's productive football.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's I don't blame John Eustace for coming out and saying that, by the way, do you? Anyone else?
No.
Not really.
We were in a better position and they sacked him. So just get me and Meredith. We're happy to take the job, Blues. Just give us a call. We'll be there.
I'm ready.
Chris, for the last few minutes, I believe you've got a Who.
Oh, correct.
Who?
Haven't I? Yeah.
Does he play for Blues?
All right then. Okay, give us
50 league games. So hard as nails. And I had about 3-4 years out. I'm playing at Southampton one time, so you know what the crowd can be like. Any ground, forget Southampton. And as I'm coming off half time,
here we go.
He sounds like an old one.
He's definitely an older one, yeah.
Is he an old player?
He's oldie-ish, but he ain't that old.
Like 50?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's old. Yeah, that's old.
I'm 50 soon.
You didn't want to say anything, Robe. That's what you sound like, mate.
Don't start, Claire. I'm 50 this year as well. So remember, I'm closer to you in seats as well. So we can get our own back.
He's 57.
See, told you, 50s.
So he played, in the 90s then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did, yeah.
He's 57.
57?
He played 52 games for Blues.
Has he been on the show?
I don't know. I don't know whether it was in the early days in mine. I can't remember.
So it would have been the 80s for Blues then, wouldn't it? Early 90s.
80s and 90s, yeah. Well, if he's 57 now, he was 30. He was 27 in 1996.
Well, he played for Blues from 1997 to 1999.
Simon Charlton.
Let's have it again.
No. Right, here we go.
I played 150 league games. So, yeah, hard as nails. And I had like 3-4 years out. I'm playing at Southampton one time, so you know what the crowd can be like. Any ground, forget Southampton. And as I'm coming off half time,
midfielder.
Chris Marston.
Well done.
Cool, Marston.
Was, yeah.
He was classy, he was.
He was good. I wish we had him now. I wish we had him now at 27, not 57, obviously.
Yeah.
Somebody commented said Marsden before Robe did, though.
Before Robe,
you're
joking.
Paul Sterndale came
Can I just say I'm getting loads of flack off everyone for saying it's old. My dad's messaged me saying he's saying I'm old. My mum's saying he's telling me I'm old. I retract the statement.
You should have just said old compared to me, Claire.
Yeah.
As in
yeah,
you, not
that's
me.
true.
Yeah.
I'm old compared to you, Claire.
I've been asked a couple of questions as well that have come through separately around costs for the women's games. So just to clarify for everybody, that the next game is one of those that's the game in hand. It is actually on Wednesday, the 1st of April. It is a 7 o'clock kickoff at St Andrews against Naya Park against Sunderland women. Tickets are £8 for an adult. They are, let's have a look, 18 to 24-year-olds, £6, and under 18s, just £3. That's for the league game. In terms of the FA Cup as well, I was asked around that. And so to clarify, the ticket costs for the FA Cup game, they are slightly different. So it is... if you are an adult season ticket holder for the ladies, then tickets are £6 and a standard adult is £8. Then the juniors is just £3. Senior citizens as well, £3. Or young adults is £4. So slightly different. Yeah. So young adults, Claire, is got up to the age in Claire's world of when we're old. Then that makes it up to the age of 35 would be a young adult.
Right. I just think that they sounded more mature and wise.
Oh, listen.
You didn't say that, though, did
you? Now trying to dig herself out of that hole.
I'm just digging the hole and I'm stuck.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be stubborn like Chris Davies. I'm going to put my hands up. I apologise.
On that note, then, I think that's the final whistle, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah.
Are we doing the bar? Oh, we ain't got time for the bar.
I predict a riot.
I said next week we'll be back with the one and only league camp. And
it'll be in the middle of the screen.
Back to normal time next week, Chris, 6:30?
Yeah, normal time, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Normal time, yeah, 6:30 next week with the one and only League Camp. So do get your questions in for Lee on the pages. We'll put some stuff out for that as well. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It's good night from me and it's good night from Claire Wheeldon.
It's good night from me and it's good night from Tally Jones.
It's good night from me and it's good night from Robe.
I reckon the Blackburn game will be probably 2-1, I think.
Mate, we're back before then, next Monday.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll carry on my prediction next week. So moving on. I'll pass you over to Mark. I'll pass sideways like the Chris Davies style to Mark.
Okay, well, I'll go backwards then and I'll go to Chris Brown. Good night, all.
I'll go sideways to Tally.
I'll pass it back to Craig.
No, it's passing forwards on my screen tonight, so you're breaking the rules there, Tally. But yeah, it's a good night from me, and I just want to end on the fact that a lot of people are feeling old and have been upset by Claire this evening. So don't feel too guilty, Claire, but you're making some people cry.
It is what it is.
I'm off to play bingo.
And also, we'll end on a major high here by just saying
during the war.
It's fine, I'll be the shepherd, I'll leave the flock.
You did say flock there, didn't you?
I said flock.
Yeah.
Well, on Tuesday.
Good night, all.
Good night.
I mean,
Lord have mercy.
hello? Where's everyone?
I only said our predictions, to be fair.
Our prediction is
sideways and backwards, cross it into someone's hole, and then we won't score. We might actually have a shot.
I reckon 2-1 next week. No, 2-1 on the third, yeah.
I personally think, because I'm a sheep, I'm coming up with really woolly answers.
Get blocked.
Tell you what, we could ram this up some people, couldn't we?
That was a sheep shot.
Bill.
Tumbleweed now, Robe.
Oh no.
A Tilton Tour production.